There's been something on my mind for quite a while, and I don't think I've really put it into words on the channel, which is remarkable considering I do movie reviews every single week. And that's the very simple concept that most movies are mediocre. In the last, let's say, decade, basically since I've been doing my channel on YouTube, the dialogue around films has changed a lot. I mean, the dialogue around everything has changed a lot, but in my space, I see it here the most. When you go out to get food, or you eat a meal at home, or you go watch a movie, or you read a book, I'd say 9 times out of 10, the book, the movie, the food is satisfying, maybe mediocre, maybe slightly above average. It's rare when it's amazing. It's rare when it's probably horrible as well. But because of the world we live in now, which is 50% online, sometimes more, depending on who you are, sometimes less. I think it's more rare to be less online nowadays. Because of the way that we live, everything has to be polarizing. Everything has to be a 1 or a 10. It's very rare when you can go in the middle, because what happens is you are not rewarded for having a middle ground opinion. You are not rewarded for having a tepid thought on something, or, you know what, the movie was okay. It wasn't great. It was a great example, actually, is the recent Exorcist film that came out. I said it was all right. It's watchable. It's not doing anything really new or clever or amazing. And some of the comments on that video are you serious? This movie was horrible. It was terrible. Now, you are free to believe that. You are absolutely free to have that opinion, of course, and it's valid for some. But I find it remarkable that every time I put out a video now, if I'm not completely destroying the movie, or if I'm not praising it 100%, I fall into some mediocre middle ground crowd that there's no time for. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all social media rewards people for having extremist opinions. This goes across the board again. This is not specific to movies. But again, I'm speaking from my space. I don't care about politics and all that stuff, but it's the same way there. I've definitely seen it. You have to be scorched earth on your opinions. You cannot be in the middle at all, or you will be buried under a mountain of bullshit. YouTube doesn't have time for it on this space. There are millions of hours of video uploaded every single day, every single hour, I believe, which is asinine to think that there's that many people making content trying to grab attention from people. And so how do you grab attention? What's the easiest way to get a hold of a person? Well, it's to say something completely outlandish, and their terrible opinions are often rewarded. It's very hard to be in what I would consider a rational space. And keep in mind, this rant is not pushing at anyone. This has just been on my mind for a long time. I felt like it'd be a fun topic to spend some time on. But if I wanted to, I could make this channel far more successful, far quicker, by picking a lane and just going all in that direction. Maybe I think everything's horrible that's made by Disney. Granted, a lot of it's not very good anymore, but it's not horrible. All right, it's mid, as the kids would say. Maybe I think everything by Disney is fantastic, and I just really push that direction. Maybe I just praise every movie that comes out. Maybe I hate every movie. Like, there's ways to just really go down an avenue, pull in a certain audience for that avenue. Now, whether or not you want to deal with that type of audience, good luck. I prefer the one I have cultivated, which is people that just love movies, debating movies, talking pros and cons of films, because even the worst movie usually has 1 or 2 good things I could say about it. Hell, I just roasted the Street Fighter movie, and there's still a couple decent things in there. But it's really disappointing that after all of this time, it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten more magnified by these platforms. YouTube specifically. Oh, we need to start propping this dude up. Look at the interactions he's getting. Look at the views she has, or the likes or dislikes or comments. Clearly people are moving towards this stuff. Well, yeah, it's like a car accident. People are curious. They'll stop and turn their heads, and they'll slow down traffic. They'll slow down actual growth because they're rubbernecking around, seeing what wreck took place instead of keeping their eyes on the road and driving forward. And these people that caused the wreck, they don't give two shits. Their opinions oftentimes don't even reflect that of a real life individual. It's just for eyeballs. It's just for the revenue stream. Now, something I've made very clear over the years, and this is, I think, one of the best things about my channel, is I have a full-time job and a family, so I have other things that keep my interest and time. I have other priorities. The YouTube channel's the passion. The movies are the passion, and yes, it does make me a secondary stream of income. It's not near as impressive as you would probably think it is. In fact, it's probably way worse than you think. But because I don't rely on this, I am able to be fully detached, no strings on me sort of a situation. My opinions are my own. I don't have an investor. I don't have a sponsor. I don't have someone right outside my ear saying, or in my ear even saying, hey, Adam, you need to say this about the film. You like this, here are the talking points. And if you think that doesn't happen, you better get out of the rock you're under, because it's happening all over the place. Unfortunately, I don't have a solution to this problem. I find myself oftentimes lingering into some of these spaces, hearing some of the polarizing opinions. I like listening to the crazy people talk for a little bit, but then I feel gross. I feel mad at myself for even even just entertaining it. And then I get back to reality. Thankfully, I've been pretty much cut off from most social media at this point. I just like to do my stuff, get it out there, look back and say, all right, I gave it my best. Let me circle back to the primary point though, and that is that movies in general are pretty mediocre, pretty okay. It's entertainment, right? You might go bowling, you have a decent game, you have a below average game. The event itself was okay. It wasn't an amazing time, it wasn't bad. You go mini golf, you go to the pool, you go to the beach. It's rare, I would say, when something is just so damn good. But that's not the point. We don't watch movies for this amazing experience every time, at least I don't think you rationally should. We go to movies and watch them to just kind of escape everything else, to sit back and enjoy a story being presented, some acting, some action, an adventure, some drama, some comedy. You get a few laughs, that might be a win. That might be all you needed in the day. For me, that's why a lot of people rewatch shows over and over again that they've seen a million times. It's comforting. And to really tie this together, the point is this. Movie reviewing can be challenging for a lot of people, including myself at times, because often there's just not that much to say about a specific film. Oh, this did this okay. I like the acting. I guess so-and-so was whatever. Most of the time, it's just a middling affair. And because YouTube rewards long-form video, often you'll see channels try to push that 9 or 10 minute mark so they can get the extra ad revenue. I never really had that I have to hit 9 or 10 minute mindset, although it definitely benefits if you do because you get extra ads, which means extra revenue on your video. It's more or less, how can I entertain and capture for a few minutes? This one will be a little longer, of course, because it's a rant style thing and I'm spewing out a lot of shit really fast. But saying something that's at least productive or something that makes you laugh is the goal for me. That's the end game. Again, though, it's really hard if you're just trying to really get yourself out there and noticed with all of the people doing the same thing. So, there's 100, there's 300, there's 8,000, there's 20,000 videos reviewing Barbie or reviewing The Matrix 4 or whatever it is. How do I set myself apart? What do I title the video? How do I capture them and then get them to watch and then hold their attention, then get them to subscribe? It's an uphill battle. And it's definitely one that you have to tread into with the open mind that, hey, it's going to take me years before I even see someone come over here and subscribe and I see a push. Lately, I've been having conversations with people and it's the same thing. They'll say, oh, this movie sucked. It was terrible. Or this movie was amazing. It's already trickled out into real world conversation offline. You thought Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 sucked? That seems aggressive. Maybe it was disappointing. Maybe it didn't live up to the hype for you. Maybe you thought it could have been trimmed down. Or, there's ways to approach it. But to say outright it sucked, it was terrible, that seems a bit aggressive. That seems like something you would see someone online say, a personality on the internet, not like a friend down the road. But oftentimes that's what I'm hearing from people and it blows my mind. We've already kind of adopted this mindset of if it's not amazing, it's horrible. Let's get us back to some normalcy. Let's get us back to you know what? It did its job. I got a couple hours of it. That doesn't mean the movie gets a pass. That's where some of the nuanced convo comes in. You say, hey, you know what? I think if they would have shaved 20 minutes off of this thing, tightened up the runtime, added some punchier jokes, added some more action in this section, we might have had a better movie. That's just an opinion, of course. Let's talk about it. Let's not just rant. Let's just not shit all over it outright. There are conversations to be had, I think, that are more than just, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, this movie blows, you're a shill, whatever. It's boring, right? It's not productive. And even as a critic, it can be kind of boring and cumbersome. Someone actually called me out a month or so back. I was doing an out-of-theater reaction, and he said in the comments, man, you look like you don't want to be here, or you don't want to do this, something to that effect. I took it to heart. When people say negative comments or they have criticism, I do take it, I do listen. If it's like just you suck or you're ugly or whatever, okay, what do you want me to do about that? but if you give me something that I can at least hook into and say, you're right. Watching it back, playing back the tape, I do seem uninterested. I do seem like this is a job, and I don't want it to feel like that. It's a side job. But I don't want it to be miserable. I don't want to feel like, oh, I got to go to this movie and get this review out so that I can beat the algorithm or get in its favor and be in front of 5 million other video reviews on this topic. No. And after that comment came in, I said, you know what? I like filming stuff. I like being a little sillier on camera. I'm going to start going crazy with my YouTube shorts as far as those movie reviews. So I started doing crazy camera angles. I'm having fun and I'm cracking some jokes in them. And now I actually look forward to making them, even though I look like a complete jackass walking around with my phone outside of the theater. I try to make sure there isn't anybody around, but there's always someone around. There's always someone I know going, wow, this guy's an idiot. And that's fair. That's more than fair. It's more creepy when I get a comment like, hey, were you at the Regal at 7 o'clock in South Carolina? Yeah, I saw you in my car. You were making a video. Oh, okay. That's nice. That's a little creepy, but okay, cool. To put a bow on this, I would just say, listen, we can have conversations online still. It doesn't have to be a 1 or a 10. It doesn't have to be a binary thing. Let's have some debate. Let's have some discussion. And don't expect a critic to be shot out of a cannon every single time a movie comes out. There are so many just meh films that come out a year. It's kind of like the norm. And it's always been the norm. This is not something that's changed over the years. You don't look back in 2007 or 1994 and go, man, every single week it was fire. Every single week a banger came out. No. There was a lot of mediocre and bad shit mixed in with some of those amazing films that we remember. And that's it. I think I covered a few different topics mixed into one. Let me hear from you though. Put a comment down. Do you agree? Have you seen this more over the years that everything is just so extreme, mainly because that's how you get people's attention? Or do you think it really is just extreme now? Movies are either horrible or they're great and there's really no in between. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. Please do me a favor and like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I post tons of movie reviews, roasts, rants, live streams, all movie based. I keep it real here. And I'd love to have you stick around. Again, I'm not shouting out this movie blows every single week to get views, so I need people to stick around who do happen to find me show up somehow magically. And I'll probably put this up as a podcast, so if you'd like, you can follow me over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast you listen to. I'm probably there in some fashion. All right, hopefully you got something out of this, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.